Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stockwatch, and let's get ready for the week ahead, October 2nd through October 6th. Stocks climbed to end the third quarter higher. Powered by the IWC, the microcaps, which was up 4% this week. The IWC, as you can see on this weekly chart, climbed to new all-time highs. Also, the IWM powered to all new time highs, up 3% for the week on the IWM. Some of the stories that still hang out there is some compromise going on in Trump's tax plan. This week drove the markets higher. The Federal Reserve may push rates higher in December as the probability climbs. The Fed speak this week was heavy but lacked clarity. And North Korea and US start to talk. I'll show you some of those stories and more. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Like I said, the IWM was up almost 3% for the week. The IWC, that was up close to 4% for the week. The IBB was plus over 1% for the week. The SPY was up almost 1% for the week, coming in at 0.72%. The Dow Jones Industrials, they were the laggards this week, and the Dow Jones came up in 0.25% for the week. If we take a look at the transports, that powered us higher, and that was making all new time highs on the IYT for the transports. That was up close to 2% for the week. So very nice week all around for the markets. So let's go ahead and take a look at some ETFs and the markets and see where we are on the dailies, the weeklies, and so on. So for the NASDAQ composite, okay, we're breaking out to all new time highs here. And if we look at it on the daily chart, all right, we're pushing up through that 649.5.96. All right, so we'll round it up to 6,496. And a very powerful move in the NASDAQ composite, as you can see off of this 50 SMA. And now we're powering up to new all-time highs. Like we said, the IYT, this is powering to all new time highs. This is the daily chart you're looking at. After we pulled back from to that 162 level, we've been straight up and pushing higher right through that 176 without even pausing. The IWM, beautiful bounce off of 134. All right, as you can see, we were in this tight channel. We bounced off that 134 spot, and we've been pushing higher and coming up to that round number 150. But we broke right through this 145 spot without even pausing, and we've been riding the 5 and the 10 moving averages right here on your daily chart. And very strong, very positive moves. So we're going to have to see what next week is going to bring for the markets. Let's go ahead and go through some, ETFs and see what we have going on. We'll take a look at the JETS ETF. This is the ETF for the airlines, and that one is just about getting over the 50 SMA now for JETS. Some other ETFs that I'm looking at are HACK, maybe trying to break out. This is the cybersecurity names, and that's such names as Palo Alto Networks, which is looking pretty on this daily chart here, Palo Alto. And the other one is, let's check out CUDA. All right, and this CUDA chart is starting to turn back up also. But some of the cybersecurities are not all faring well. We had FTNT down. And let's check on our friend FireEye. That one is kind of holding that gap up area here and trying to get back above 17 on FireEye. All right, let's take a look at the rare earth, and that's starting to turn back up on the daily too. This is the rare earth strategic market metals ETF. And as you can see, it's back over the fast moving averages and trying to make a nice move. Robo popping and is up and near all-time highs again on Robo. This is the automation index. So big names like NVIDIA are in this one. ROBO, that's an ETF. Social, trying to get back over the 10 SMA on the daily chart here. SOCL, the ETF. TAN didn't fare as well this week. We were up a tad, but we're still below the 50 SMA on the daily chart for TAN. Lithium ETF, Global X Lithium ETF, trying to get back over the 10 SMA, and that's such names as ALB. All right, and this specialty chemical names and they're in the lithium area, and that one is powering higher, SQM. This one is basing under the 10 SMA, and then of course you have Tesla, and that's the ultimate in the lithium plays as far as electric cars, but that one stayed below the 50 SMA for the week on Tesla. All right, let's go ahead and look at some more ETFs. The XLF, the bank's powering to new time highs here on the XLF after breaking out over that 24.50 spot. This is the weekly chart you're looking at on the XLF. So a very nice powerful move here. We're riding the 5 EMA. So the financials are having a strong month and quarter here so far. If we go ahead and take a look at the regional banks, all right, that's powering up also. On the weekly chart, we're not at all-time highs yet. We'd have to get over that 59.68 area for all-time highs on the regional bank ETF. So we'll call it, $60 for KRE. So watch that level next week. If we take a look at the XBI, all right, XBI is pushing up, trying to break out also on the weekly. If we look at it on the daily, we see it's popping over this resistance here on the XBI. And then the IBB is also, trying to turn the corner and get back over the 20 SMA on the daily chart here. Barron's was out positive this weekend on their article. On the cover, they showed the biotechs, and they have a positive article out this week for the biotech sector, the IBB and the XBI. If we look at some oil and oil plays, the oil services sector, we see the OIH is powering up. Now it gets a little bit harder now, right? Because we have the 150 SMA, the 200 declining here, and that's such names as XLB, all right, and HAL, Halliburton, and of course RIG. And RIG had a very nice week this week. RIG powering up, but we are getting up near that 200 SMA. Same with Schlumberger. We had a powerful move. We have the 150 SMA coming up there. So keep your eye on that for the OIH. Let's take a look at the USO, since we're in the oil sector now. And oil needs to, USO needs to get over this 1075 spot for possible continuation move. If we look at XOIL, which is the light sweet crude, all right, and that's known as WTI oil. You see the nice pop we had here off of this 43 level area, and then we popped here off of 46, and we broke out over the 200 SMA, and we'll see if they want to keep pushing this higher near that $55 barrel. We broke out of this consolidation here. And now they were getting some topping tails here on the WTI. So we'll see what they want to do with that. Let's take a look at silver. And silver came up to that 17 spot, got a little bit over it, and now it's pulling back. Will it get back down to the bottom of this channel around 1520 area for silver? And GLD, we are back below the 50 SMA for the GLD after popping up to about 128.50. We reversed, and now we're below that breakout area here on GLD. What else did we want to look at real fast? LabVIEW is always good to look at. This is the ETF, the bullish ETF for the biotechs, and that's pushing up. If we look at it on the weekly chart, you see it's starting to, break out over all this consolidation, LabVIEW. And I think that's about it. I mean, we'll take a look at the SPY, but it's pretty much like the rest of the market. Sorry for all the lines. We'll go to the daily. Let me turn those lines off for you real fast. And we'll look at the daily, and you see we're starting, to break out above the 10 SMA, breaking out over this consolidation here, not congestion. And we had a nice bounce off the 100 SMA. So some of the things on the mind of the market for next week, and that were on the mind of the market that pushed it up, were the Trump tax plan. So now we're starting to see stories that come out, and we're going to have to see if he can get his tax plan through, and I guess we'll get more details as we get closer. But the GOP tax plan favors the richest, analysis shows. So, you know, seeing stories like this coming out over the weekend, this story came out. U.S. has direct lines of communication with North Korea. So we'll see if we can get this off of the front burner and back onto the back burner. But, you know, North Korea was threatening to launch a missile this weekend. So far I haven't heard anything that they have. And we will see, you know, what's going to come about from this. But maybe they're talking opening lines of communication, all right, for North Korea, and we can get that off of our front burner. If we take a look at the fear and greed index, that's up pushing near 85 right now. So we are getting, you know, overbought right now for the markets. And so this is the CNN fear and greed. It's like an oscillator. And currently we're at 85 on this. And this was the article in Barron's that came out over the weekend. Their cover story, time for biotech ETFs. Tech stocks have soared this year, but biotech could offer more opportunity now. So Barron's coming out positive on the you know, biotech sector, the XBI and the IBB. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the Dow stocks and some of the bigger stocks, and then we'll get into our best and worst for the week. Currently, let's take a look at Apple. Kind of weak this week. It's below the 50 SMA as they're having some issues with the manufacturing, with the watch and the phone. But you know, holding above the 150 SMA and but below the 50 SMA here on the daily chart. If we go ahead and look at it on the weekly chart, we're below the 10 SMA on the weekly chart. Next one up for the Dow, and I'm just going to pick a few of them, but Boeing's been very strong. This is the weekly chart you're looking at, and Boeing has been holding strong, but you know, just hanging around the 10 SMA on the daily chart. This is the weekly in blue, and then we have the daily chart holding below the 10 SMA on Boeing. Some other names that were moving, we had Microsoft up on Friday, holding this 50 SMA on Microsoft. Intel made a nice move this week. Intel powering up, and I think for the week, Intel was up, yeah, almost 2.5% for the week. So nice breakout there on the weekly chart for Intel, and that bodes well for the semiconductor space. And you see this nice run off of the bottoming here at 34.50 and popping up to 38.08 for Intel. Some of the banks we'll take a look at. JP Morgan kind of basing under this 96 spot on JP Morgan. If we look at Merck, that one's taken a tumble here from about that 66.50 spot down to the 50 SMA here, down to the 200 SMA, the green line there you see on Merck. We also pulled back down to the 50 SMA on the weekly chart for Merck. Let's check out Pfizer. Pfizer is actually stronger than Merck right now, and trying to get back over the light blue line here on the daily, the 10 SMA for Pfizer. UNH, this one is below the 20 SMA. We'll take a look at Verizon, and this one is below that $50 area for Verizon. And next up is Walmart in the Dow, and pulling back a little bit here off of that 82 area and getting back down to the 100 SMA for Walmart. Walmart is also below the 10 SMA on the weekly chart. So Walmart, you know, is hanging around here at the 20 SMA on the weekly chart, the red line you see there, but it is below the 10 SMA. ExxonMobil had a nice week. It was up almost 3% for the week for ExxonMobil. Nice pop up to the 200 SMA. Now it probably gets a little bit difficult with the 200 SMA declining. So that's some of the Dow stocks that we went through. I'll just take a last look at Procter & Gamble on the daily. You know, Nelson Peltz is trying to, you know, get this one moving and get involved in this one. And currently that one is down below the 50 SMA, but there's been a lot of news around Procter & Gamble. Another oil name that was up for the week was CVX, but Mobil actually had a ExxonMobil actually had a better week than CVX, only up a fraction on CVX Chevron. But you see the nice run that Chevron's had in the past. Let's go ahead and look at some of the other big names. We'll look at Amazon. Amazon still below the 50 SMA, trying to hold the lows here at 931.75. So that's Amazon. Google. Take a look at Google, powering up, finally got over that 50 SMA on the daily chart, and now starting to break out on Google, and we are back above the 10 SMA. We've been holding this trend line here, but now we're back above the 10 SMA and the 20 SMA for Google. As far as Facebook, that one is still kind of consolidating here under the on the weekly. That one is consolidating under 174 on Facebook, and we'll take a look at it on the daily chart, but we are trying to get back over the 20 SMA for Facebook. Tesla, I showed you already. That one is pulling back off the highs here and is down below the 50 SMA. Next up we have Netflix. And that stock, after the nice run, is back below the 10 SMA on the daily. On our weekly chart, though, we are holding above the 10 SMA on the weekly chart. All right. And if we take a look at Tesla, which I don't think I did, for that we're below the 10 SMA on the weekly chart. And we do have the support line here at 327.25 for Tesla. So we'll see if they want to bring it down to that spot and try to hold it there. Some other names, big names, NVIDIA, kind of just consolidating now, had this big pop up to 190. We are below the 10 SMA on the daily chart. If we look at it on the weekly chart, though, we are holding above the breakout level, which was about that 170 spot, and we're holding above the 10 SMA on the weekly chart for NVIDIA. Some other names, Amgen, after strong moves up, pulling back a little bit, but holding the 20 SMA. BABA, also pulling back a little bit below the 20 and the 10 SMA for BABA. We'll take a look at some of the airlines real fast. They're hanging in there. They bounced off of their, at the 44 level for American Airlines, but the powerful moves are coming in like the trucking and the railroads for the IYT, CSX, JBHT popped. Let me check. YRCW popped also. Trying to get out over this breakout area here on YRCW. So that might be one to watch next week on the name YRCW. UNP, Union Pacific. Nice big run here. And if we check out FedEx, that one a nice, after their earnings, pullback. Now a nice push up for FedEx. And UPS was stronger than FedEx and pushing higher this week. So that's helping the transports also. Last one we'll take a look at is Priceline. And this is in the travel sector. And right now Priceline is below the 10 SMA on the daily chart. For the weekly chart, we're below the 10 SMA for Priceline and below the 20 SMA on the weekly chart. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. Some of your best stocks for the week. We had BBRY, and that stock was up 22% for the week. KBH, they had their earnings, and that stock, Home Builders, was up 15% for the week. DHI in that group was up 8% for the week on DHI, DH Horton. Next one up is PHM, and that one was up 6% for the week. On PHM. Another stock that was up this week was RIG, and that was up 15% for the week. X, US Steel, was up 8% for the week. TMST, 6% for the week. ZEUS, up 12% for the week on ZEUS, another steel name. AKS, this stock was up 7% for the week. SUNW in the solar sector, this stock was up 7% for the week. And SEDG was up 7% for the week. This is an Israeli solar company, and this was up 7% for the week on SEDG. ROST was up 6% for the week. CON Cons was up 23% for the week, and that's a retailer, so some nice moves in retailing this week. ZGNX was up 143% for the week, so big move there in that drug manufacturer, ZGNX. ZYNE was up 34% for the week. IZEA was up 122% for the week. HMNY, sorry about that. HMNY was up 82% for the week. AMMA up 90% for the week. VKTX, this stock was up 37% for the week on VKTX. CAPR plus 42% for the week. TEUM, which I played on Friday, was up 45% for the week. VRML was up 40% for the week. SPPI up 49% for the week on SPPI. WPCS was up 22% for the week on WPCS. BLPH up 27% for the week. CATB positive 16% for the week. And lastly, KURA, that was up 25% for the week for KURA. So very nice week in some of the biotechs, the retailers. A few of the solars, were up this week, even though First Solar made our worst for the week. So let's go ahead and get into our worst stocks for the week. FSLR, that was down 11% for the week. SPWR was down 5% for the week. Pandora was down 6% for the week. TRIP down 9% for the week. CVNA down 9% for the week. Sprint and T-Mobile never got together, so Sprint was down 9% for the week. AXON, the biotech, that was down 72% for the week. GNCA, another biotech, this was down 72% for the week. Rite Aid, after their earnings, stock dropped 18% for the week. So mixed bag in the biotechs and in the retail sector, with RAD being down 18% and such names like GNCA, AXON down 72% for the week. ANY was down 36% for the week. HIIQ was down 33% for the week. ROSG down 23% for the week. ROGA down 22% for the week. VSLR down 12% for the week. VERI, after Citron came out on these folks, that was down 19% for the week. BSAR, another biotech that got crushed this week, down 88% for the week. W, down 10% for the week. Wayfair, ATHX, down 19% for the week. CATM, down 21%. TXMD, down 14% for the week. JD, down 10% for the week. MOMO, down 10% for the week on Momo. DGLY, minus 11% for the week. And lastly, DXCM, this stock was down 30% for the week. So there's your best and worst stocks for the week, and some real tough hits in some biotech names, but also some nice moves in some biotech names. So a very mixed bag there on those biotech names. All right, so let's get ready for the week ahead. Some economic information for Monday, October 2nd, and this is brought to you by the Trade Exchange Calendar. We have Fed Speak going on Monday, Robert Kaplan. At 9:45, we have the PMI Manufacturing Index, 10 o'clock Construction Spending, and also at 10 a.m. we have the ISM Manufacturing Index. And that's for Monday, October 2nd. You see the Fed Speak that's going to be coming up this week. A bunch of Fed Speak again, even more than last week, it looks like. Janet Yellen is going to be speaking on Wednesday, the 4th, October 4th at 3:15 p.m. And so just be aware of that for Wednesday. Some other economic information coming up for the week on Tuesday. We have the API crude oil data coming out at 4:30. Next up, we have for Wednesday, like we said, we have Yellen speaking on Wednesday, 10 o'clock. We have the ISM non-manufacturing. 10:30, we have the EIA petroleum report. So some important economic information coming out, and a lot of Fed speak also on Thursday. We have the 8:30 initial jobless claims. We have Fed speak coming out at 9:10, 9:15, 9:30. So a lot of Fed speak right as the market is opening on Thursday. We have at 10 o'clock factory orders. 10:30, we have nat gas numbers coming out. More Fed speak down here at 4:30 on Thursday. So a lot of action here, all leading up to the NFP non-farm payrolls number 8:30 on Friday. So big number there. And then more Fed speak on Friday. 1 o'clock, the Baker Hughes rig count also comes out on Friday. So a big week for Fed speak, all leading up to the employment situation at 8:30 on Friday, October 6th. So that's a big number for the market. If we go ahead and take a look at some of the earnings coming out for the week next week, we'll take a look at, we have CALM, CALM coming out Monday, and that is before the open on CALM. For the Tuesday before the open, we have Lennar, LEN, we have AZZ, and Paychex, PAYX for Tuesday, and that's before the open. After the bell, we have NG, Nova Gold Resources, and that'll be after the close on Tuesday. For Wednesday, before the market opens, we have Pepsi reporting, we have Monsanto reporting. So PEP is a symbol for Pepsi, MON, symbol there for Monsanto. LW is reporting on Wednesday before the bell. RPM is reporting, symbol RPM. For after the close, we have RECN, Resources Connection. So that will be reporting after the close on Wednesday. As you can see, Friday, no earnings reports. Big earnings report on Thursday after the close will be Costco. All right, but prior to that, we have STZ, Constellation Brands, STZ. We have International Speedway Thursday before the open. Like I said, we have Costco after the bell on Thursday. And then we have HELE, which is Helen of Troy, YUMC, Yum China. That will be reporting after the bell on Thursday. So not a lot of earnings, but the big one here, Costco, Pepsi, we'll see Monsanto to see how they're doing. But Costco is going to be closely watched on Thursday. So there's some of your earnings. Some of your earnings calls brought to you by Earnings Cast for Tuesday, because there are none for Monday. Monday is a blank slate. But for Tuesday, we have Paychex at 9:30. We have AZZ at 11, Lennar at 11. So there's some of your conference calls for Tuesday. And then you have conference calls for Wednesday, Monsanto, RPM, NG, AYI. After the bell, you have CAFD and RECN. And then we have Thursday, Constellation Brands at 10:30 in the morning, and then after we have Costco at 5 o'clock and Helen of Troy at 6:45. I'm sorry, 4:45 in the morning. And then Friday, no conference calls at all for Earnings Cast. All right, so that's some of your earnings and your economic coming up for the week ahead. So like we said with the oscillator, the CNN money oscillator hitting about 85. We have some big moves in the IWM and the IWC. We have a nice move here in the IYT. And we're going into the non-farm payrolls, the employment situation on Friday. We do have Yellen speaking next week. A lot of Fed speak next week. And so we'll see what they, how the markets are going to react. We are a little bit overbought in the markets. There are some earnings coming out. But not a lot to, move the markets. We'll have to see what's going to happen with North Korea, if that's going to stay on the front burner. The markets were pushing higher on that tax reform talk. So we'll have to see if, that's going to stay on the front burner. What other kind of news articles are going to come out for, negative articles, positive articles for the tax reform by Trump. So stay tuned next week. You are more ready for next week than you were before. This is Zozo Stock Watch. This is your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, October 2nd through October 6th. Have a great weekend all. I'll be back with Stocks to Watch on Sunday. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the YouTube channel, and hit that thumbs up if you like these videos. I greatly appreciate it, and have a great weekend, and see you back here with Stocks to Watch. All right, thank you very much, and see you around, YouTubers.